In the heart of Egypt's western desert, far from the eyes of man, lies a forgotten village known as Al-Maquosa. The village now stands empty, silent, as if trapped in time. Once, it was a thriving place, home to families who lived their lives as any other would, until one day, they mysteriously disappeared without a trace. The legends tell of ghosts haunting the village, the spirits of those families still roaming the area, terrifying anyone brave enough to enter. But the truth behind Al-Maquosa was only revealed when a group of bold adventurers decided to uncover its dark secrets, unaware that what awaited them would change their lives forever. On a dark, moonless night, a group of curious explorers made their way toward Al-Maquosa. The wind howled like a warning, but they pressed on. When they reached the village, an eerie silence enveloped them. No animals, no wind, only a heavy stillness that felt wrong. They stood at the edge of the crumbling buildings, gazing at them as if they were watching from a different time, feeling the weight of the past pressing upon them. They had no idea that what lay ahead would change them forever. They were not just about to explore a haunted town. They were about to step into something far darker than they could imagine. Inside the village, the explorers began searching the abandoned houses. The cracked walls, covered in dust, whispered of forgotten days. In one house, they found strange photographs, faces from a time long past, eyes empty and vacant. It felt as if the photos were watching them, following their every movement. Suddenly, one of the explorers froze. A soft voice, clear but faint, whispered their names. It seemed to come from the walls themselves, a voice that should not have existed. The voices they heard weren't from the living. They were from something much older, something that had been here far longer than they realized. As they continued to search deeper into the village, they stumbled upon a strange old book, its pages filled with cryptic symbols and strange writing. One of the explorers began reading aloud, and the moment the words left his lips, the ground beneath them trembled. The air grew thick, and the village itself seemed to awaken from a centuries-old slumber, as if it had been waiting for them all along. What had they just unleashed? And would they be able to escape before the darkness claimed them all? The wind suddenly grew louder, almost like a scream, and shadows moved unnaturally between the dilapidated buildings. The explorers felt an overwhelming need to run, their hearts racing. But they weren't just fleeing from the wind. They could see figures darting between some broken structures, figures that shouldn't have been there, figures that were not of this world. What was out there wasn't just watching, they were hunting them, and it was only a matter of time before they would be caught. While rushing through the village, they stumbled upon a cracked mirror in an abandoned room. One of them dared to peer into it, but the reflection was wrong. His face was distorted, his eyes glowing unnaturally. Before he could react, the image vanished and the mirror shattered, leaving only a deep, cold silence. The mirror didn't just reflect their fear. It showed them something far worse, something that was already inside them. The group reached the highest point in the village, hoping to find an escape route. From there, they could see the entire village stretching out before them, twisting and shifting as if it were alive. They suddenly realized that Al-Maquosa wasn't merely haunted. It was a trap, a place that drew in souls, keeping them trapped for eternity. There was no escape. They weren't simply exploring a ghost town. They were now part of something far darker than they had ever imagined, something from which they might never return. With the first light of dawn breaking over the horizon, the explorers raced to flee. The ground beneath them shifted and cracked as they ran, and the shadows reached out like hands, trying to pull them back. As they reached the edge of the village, it fell eerily silent once more. They looked back one last time, relieved to have escaped, or so they thought. The village may have let them go, but the whispers would follow them forever, lingering in the back of their minds. After leaving Al-Maquosa, the group tried to return to their lives, but the village's presence lingered like a dark cloud. At night, they would hear faint whispers in the distance, and sometimes they would catch glimpses of faces staring at them from the corners of their vision. No matter where they went, the village of Al-Maquosa was never truly gone. The village never really lets go, not of its secrets, and certainly not of those who dare to enter.